Donald Trump has been empowering white supremacists and white nationalists in this country. He is very much supporting the chaos that we're seeing throughout the country with the civil unrest and the clashes between Black Lives Matter protesters and these armed right-wing gang members. And there's a reason for that. He is basically gearing up his own personal militia to carry out acts of violence if he loses this upcoming general election. Now, this is my speculation, but the speculation is based on now months of Donald Trump's statements where he claims that he will refuse to accept the outcome of the election if Joe Biden wins. The fact that he's been empowering these right-wing groups over and over again and refuses to condemn them or hold them accountable for their acts of violence. And it's starting to have an impact on his base. We have one piece of evidence to share with you in the form of an interview that our very own Michael Shore did with a Trump supporter recently. Let's take a look.
I can tell you right now, if they steal the election, all bets are off. How about civil war? Let's go for it. Everybody has had enough. Enough. You want to play this game more? Watch what happens.
So that's really terrifying rhetoric. I mean, he's priming his electorate, or his base, I should say, to just call for full-blown war, civil war, if Donald Trump loses this election. And Noam Chomsky has also warned about this in an interview with Smashing Interviews. He said, unless Trump wins the Electoral College, every scenario they run leads to civil war if Trump and the Republicans just refuse to accept it. There are a lot of options they could pursue to try to undermine it. It's like the actions of a dictator in a neo-colony somewhere, a small country that has a military coup every couple of years. There's no historical precedent for this in a functioning democratic society. That's deterioration of democracy at a level we've never seen before, and being taken very seriously in the most respectable places. We have a sociopathic maniac in the White House. So Noam Chomsky is also alarmed at some of the rhetoric coming from Donald Trump and how it's seeping into the mindset of his base.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really, obviously, that's what Trump has spent literally. If his reelection effort has any message, it's that he clearly doesn't expect that he's gonna get the most votes, and he doesn't want anyone who supports him to accept the results when he doesn't, inevitably. That's all it is. And it's a great situation for Donald Trump because it will justify, in his view and in the view of his supporters, him trying to shut down the count of mail-in ballots or something along those lines. And let's say that hypothetically that doesn't actually work, because I still think there's a chance that, despite the fact that he'll almost certainly challenge the result, that maybe he'll leave. We're not gonna have a civil war. What we'll likely have is some of his crazy followers committing terror attacks, specific terror attacks that'll kill people. It'll be an absolute disaster. And he, of course, won't be involved in any of it. That guy in the video won't be involved in it. All the commentators that continually talk about civil war, they won't be involved in it, but they'll talk about it. And when he finally leaves office, if he does, Trump will sell books around it. He'll start Trump TV or whatever. And all of them will make a ton of money by trying to produce content for the sort of people that believe that this thing was stolen. And if some people have to die along the way, then that's a price that they're willing to have other people pay.
It's so disgusting what we're dealing with, and how it's so obvious that Donald Trump is this sociopathic narcissist who only thinks about himself and how he can use his position to make money, to enrich himself, to profit with his businesses and funnel money to his companies. And he's doing all of that while sacrificing, our democracy, our democratic process, the stability of this country. It's absolutely sick, and it's his supporters. I usually shy away from using this kind of language, but it is cultish. It is cultish because he hasn't done anything to fundamentally improve the lives of these people. Yet they will go to war for him. They will carry out acts of terror for him if he loses this election. And it's worrying me, especially because I don't know, I could be wrong, but it doesn't appear that there's enough preparation happening for what will follow election day / election week, right? Because of all of those mail-in ballots and how long it could take to tabulate all those mail-in ballots. So
I mean, I'm sure that Democratic leaders will they'll Skype into MSNBC and say that they're appealing to Republican senators to please stand against Trump remaining in office despite the fact that he lost the election. That's probably what we'll get. They'll do nothing. They'll do nothing. That doesn't mean that it'll work again, but it's not like Nancy Pelosi is gonna save us at the last minute, Okay,
I mean, look, you keep bringing up Pelosi. So I'm gonna read a tweet from Pelosi today. Well, it's a tweet that basically outlined Pelosi's statements today about the Republican Party. It just makes my head explode every time I read stuff like this. So Nancy Pelosi, according to Casey Hunt on Twitter, said the following on Morning Joe: "The country needs a strong Republican Party. It's done so much for our country. It's been hijacked and is now a cult."
It was great before. It was awesome before.
Was it okay? So before Trump, the Republican Party was hunky dory, really? Dragging us into a preemptive war with Iraq? That was good? The largest terrorist attack in modern day history happened under George Bush's watch. Is that the wonderful thing that Republicans did for this country? Like, okay, sure. She's awful. She needs to be voted out of office. Vote for Shahid Buttar.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.